Oh, thank God for that. Okay, we're going to talk about an article that I just shared in the chat. And this article came out from Yahoo News, and it's talking about the real estate market, and it's not very encouraging. Matter of fact, it's pretty discouraging. Now, why are we talking about this? Not because I want to get you discouraged, because your clients are reading these articles, and it's your job in order to know this information before they do, and it's your job to know this information better than they do. Now, I'm just going to share a couple highlights from it. Like I said, I put it in the chat, so I want you to download it, read it, and then I'm going to share some ideas with you before we finish today on how you can use this in order to, as a marketing strategy, to get more listings. All right. In a separate interview with CNN, back up, home sales have fallen for 8 months. Shocker, we know that. And prices are dropping, but economists say worse is to come. Okay. The signs of stress have become blatant. Recent data showed that in September, existing home sales dropped 24%, the 8th straight month of decline, marking the longest slide since 2007. You should pay attention to that. You'll hear me say a lot of times, is this time like that time? And is it possible that the market we're in, or the market we're going into, is like the market we saw back in 2006, 7, and 8? Maybe, maybe not. Home building starts slumped, and the number of new home listings fell by 22%. Mortgage applications are at their lowest since 1997. Pay attention to that. That's pretty important. That tells us how many real estate transactions are in our future. And if mortgage applications hit an all-time low since 1997, that tells us something about the market that we're going into. All right, he goes on to say, meanwhile, growing concerns about a coming economic recession have dampened demand. So Jerry Siegel, Wharton professor of finance, says, I expect housing prices to fall 10 to 15%. And the housing prices are accelerating on the downside, meaning we're seeing this. We're seeing this. We're not seeing this. Siegel told CNBC in a recent interview, noting that housing prices by any indicator are going down. Okay. In a separate interview with CNBC, he said, I think we're going to have the second biggest housing price decline since post-World War II period over the next 12 months. That's a very, very significant factor for wealth and for equity in the housing market. Mark Zandi added, assuming rates remain near the current 6.5% and the economy skirts recession, then national house prices will fall almost 10% peak to trough. He said in a recent tweet, most of those declines will happen sooner rather than later. And housing prices will fall 20% if there is a typical recession. David Rosenberg, veteran economist, adds, he's speaking about the Fed here, guys, they want the stock market to go down. They want home prices to go down. Why? Because there's not a snowball's chance in hell they're going to get their 2% holy grail consumer inflation. In other words, the only way we're going to get back to 2% inflation is if home prices fall, if the stock market falls, without there being a period now of asset deflation. It's 100% necessary. All right, doom and gloom, right? No, it's not. I've got 3 major points for you today. Please write this down. My first point is knowledge is power. The second point that we're going to talk about today is using market data strategically and playing offense, not defense. And then my last major point that we're going to cover today is perspective changes everything. All right, let's go back to number 1. Knowledge is power. As a local economist of choice It is your job to know the market. It is your job to know the market better than your clients do. You are your client's resource for all things real estate. You are a local economist of choice. You are a strategic pricing professional. If you have an elevator speech, those two things should be at the beginning of your elevator speech. In other words, somebody asks you what you do. I'm a local economist of choice. I'm a strategic pricing professional. That needs to be part of your answer. You can fit it in however you want, but it's super, super important. Don't just tell them I'm a real estate agent. Everybody's a real estate agent. You want to stand out from your competition. I'm a local economist of choice. I am a strategic pricing professional. All right. Point number 2, using market data strategically and playing offense. Anyone who bought between 2012 and 2017 has lots of equity right now. True or true? It's true. Anybody who bought between 2012 and 2017 has a lot of equity in their home right now. Now, if I'm playing offense, I'm going to pull that list and I am going to target market to that group. Now, I'll share with you in a little bit what my message is going to be, but remember, I'm playing offense. I'm proactive, I'm not reactive, and I'm going on the attack. I am not reacting to negative news. I am being proactive. I am playing offense. I am being strategic. Now, I've identified everybody who bought a house between 2012 and 2017 in my local market, and they're going to become my target group. All right, more on that in just a second. What if this time is like last time? So 2007 to 2012 versus 2022 to 2025. If you know of anybody who owned a home back in 2006, 7, and 8, ask them. By 2010, if you could do it over again, would you have sold your home back in 2007? Most of them are going to tell you yes, they would. And what if this time is like that time? Now, here's my point around this. You have a job. It is your responsibility to be talking to everybody that you know, everybody who bought a home between 2012 and 2017, and ask them if this market was like the market we saw back between 2007 and 2010, and then you knew it was, what would you do? Wait for their answer. If you knew your home was worth more today than it would be for the next 6 years, you're at the top of the market and you're at the peak for the next 6 years. In other words, values are going to start to drop. Most economists are saying they're going to drop anywhere from 15 to 20%. That'll probably take 12 months to 18 months, a year to a year and a half, and then it'll slowly come back, whether it's a V market, a U market, or an L market. More on that in just a minute. And you're looking 6 years from now before your home is worth the same amount as it is today. If you knew that was true, what would you do? What if this time was like that time? If you're a move up buyer, you want the market to drop by 20%. All right, I'm going to slow down here because you're thinking, what? Did he just say what I thought? If you're a move up buyer, you want the market to drop. I want you to, where you're taking notes, I want you to write down 2 numbers. I want you to write down 400,000, and next to it, I want you to write 600,000. Now, let's say the market drops by 20%. And you're selling that $400,000 home. You sold it for $80,000 less because the market dropped by 20%. 20% of $400,000 is $80,000. All good. Now, you're buying a $600,000 home. The value of that home also dropped by 20%, which means the value dropped by $120,000. Which means you're selling that $400,000 home for $320,000, and you're buying the $600,000 home for $480,000. You lost 80, you gained 120. It's a net gain of 40. If you're a move-up buyer, you want the market to drop. Really important when you're sitting down with a seller and they're sharing that the value of their home has dropped. First question that I'm going to ask them is, when your home sells, where are you moving to? Tell me about the property you're looking for. And if I'm hearing, well, I'm looking for a bigger home because my family is larger, we need more space, then my next question is going to be, are you losing money or gaining money? And they're going to think I'm losing money. In reality, they're actually gaining money. It's your job to help them see that. All right. Date the mortgage rate, marry the house. This is for your buyers who are on the fence and they're not buying because interest rates are 6, 6.5%, 7%, whatever they are. And are you going to have that interest rate for the next 30 years? More than likely, you're not. If interest rates come down in 2%, if they're 6.5% and they come down to 5%, what would you do? Well, I would refinance. Yeah, of course you would. So you've got that 6.5% interest rate for a year, for 2 years, and then you're going to refinance at 5%. So you're not going to have 6.5% for the next 30 years. You're going to have 6.5% for the next 24 months, and then you're going to refinance to 5%. You're going to date the interest rate. You're going to marry the house. All right, E. Are we looking at a V market, a U market, or an L market? And on a sheet of paper, I want you to, and I'll do the best I can to show you my notes here. Let's see. Yeah, you got that. All right, so you got a V market, a U market, and an L market. All right, in a V market, market values drop 20%, and then they go back up at the same rate that they came down. If it took a year for the values to drop 20%, it took another year for them to go up 20%, which means 2 years from now, your home will be worth the same as it is today. If it takes 2 years for the values to drop by 20%, then 2 years from now, your home is worth 20% less. V market, another 2 years, and it'll be worth the same as it is today. It's a V market. More than likely, you're not going to see a V market. If you go back in time and you look at previous market corrections, more than likely what you're going to see is either a U market or an L market. And in a U market, the values are dropping, and then they gradually come back up. If it takes 2 years for them to drop by 20%, it'll take another 3 to 4 years for them to come back up to where they were before they started dropping, which means in a U market, you're 5 years, you're 6 years away from your home being worth what it is today. Now, the other market is an L market, where the market is coming down and then it stabilizes, it flatlines, it stays steady for a period of time. If you go back between 2005 and 2006-07, you'll see this at the top of the market. When the market hit its peak, late 2005, early 2006, it flatlined. We didn't see the values start to drop for almost another year, and then they started falling, and they fell fast. So it was an upside down L market, flat, and then it dropped. Happens in reverse as well. And if that happens, it may take 2 years for your value to drop by 20%. It may take another year for the values to start going back up. So you've got this, and then they gradually come back up. That's an L market, which means that you could be, if it takes 2 years for the values to drop, it takes a year flat, you've got 3 years, and it takes another 3 years for them to come back up. You've got 6 years from right now before your home is worth what it is today. And if you looked at the market between 2007, let's see if I can get that on your screen. Yes. If you look at the market between 2007 to 2012, when it bottomed out, you see the L, and then you see the market to start coming back. It was 2016 before the values were where they were in 2007. So anybody who didn't sell in 2007 had to wait 9 years before their home was worth what it was in 2007. Really important for you to know. Okay, last point, perspective. Perspective is the only thing that can dramatically change the outcome of an event without changing any of the facts. A lot of times when we're looking at things and we think it's bad or we think it's good or we have an opinion, we're not lacking clarity, we're lacking perspective. It's your job as a real estate agent to help your sellers have the right perspective. So, question, is a market correction a bad thing? How do you think most people would answer that question? Yes? No? Put your answer in the chat. What if I told you my answer is, it depends? My friend Dick Dillingham says it depends to every question. He'll say, well, it depends. And in this case, it depends. If you're a first-time home buyer, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Consider this. If the average price for a first-time home buyer to get into the market is $400,000, well, then a lot of first-time home buyers have been priced out of the market. Yes or yes? Now, if the values drop by 20%, that $400,000 entry-level home is now $320,000, and all of a sudden, a lot of first-time home buyers can afford to buy. So for them, it's a good thing. Here's another way of looking at it. If the market doesn't correct and the values continue to go up at 10% per year, and the average price in your market is $400,000, the average price 5 years from now is $644,000. If the market continues to go up by 10% for the next 5 years, the average price of $400,000 becomes $644,000. What do you think happens when the average price becomes $644,000? Well, a lot of people can no longer afford to buy. Do that over a 10-year period, and the price just becomes ridiculous. I guarantee you it's over $1 million. How'd you like to go from an average price of $400,000 to an average price of more than $1 million? Can your market sustain that? And the answer for most of you is no, it can't. Yeah, Sheena, I agree 100%. Okay, next question. Oh, here's the other thing on the market correcting, where I think, is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? It depends. In a market correction, it becomes a skill-based market, meaning for you, for all of you real estate agents, I would rather be selling real estate in a correcting market than the market we just got out of. The market we just got out of was just pure craziness. Put it on the market, put a house on the market, price it wherever you want, doesn't matter. Anybody can sell that house, almost. Property's worth $400,000, seller says, I want $450,000, realtor says, okay, let's go. They put it on the market, and in a week they have 20 offers. What kind of skill is involved in that? Say none. Now we're going into a market that requires skill. Why is that a good thing? Because you're a skill-based agent, which means advantage you. You're going from a market where there's plenty for everybody, which there really wasn't. That was that wasn't correct. Can't think of the right word. Going from a market where there's plenty for everyone to a market where there's considerably less and you have lots of competition. In other words, the pizza delivery guy delivered one 10-slice pizza to your home with 10 people, and you went from 2 slices for everyone to 1 slice for everyone. Well, I'm still getting my 2 slices. You guys can figure out the rest. I'm going to get my unfair share. You figure it out. A market correction is a good thing. It's a matter of perspective. All right, next question. Is real estate an investment or is it shelter? Now, your clients think it's an investment. My answer is it's only an investment if you are an investor. And you're only an investor if you own multiple pieces of real estate. And you accept the reality, not the chance, that you're going to lose money on some of them. Otherwise, if it's your home, it's shelter. It's not an investment. Nobody guaranteed that you were going to make money on that property. Now, If you've lived in your home for 5 years, you paid $400,000 for your home and you are selling for $360,000. This is like one of those crazy questions on your real estate exam, right? If you've lived in your home, you bought your home for $400,000. You bought it for $400,000. You've lived in your home for 5 years and you're selling for $360,000 with a net of $330,000 after real estate fees and closing cost. Did you lose $70,000? Yes or no? And I'm going to tell you the answer is no. Remember, perspective is the only thing that can dramatically change the outcome of an event without changing any of the facts. Now, let's say, Kim, I'm sitting at the listing table with you, and you are just losing it because you have to sell your home. You're moving, you don't have a choice, you're not doing this because you want to, you have to. And you're looking at losing $70,000. At least that's your perspective. My job is to help you see things differently. So I'm going to ask you, Kim, how long have you lived in your home? 5 years. Cool. Let's say for a moment you didn't buy it. Let's say for a moment you were renting that house for the last 5 years. You were renting that home for 60 months. The going rate for rent on a property like yours is at least $3,000, which means in the last 5 years, you would have paid $180,000 to rent your home. And you didn't do that. And you got to live in your home. You enjoyed it for 5 years. You enjoyed the improvements for 5 years, and you're selling it for a $70,000 loss, but you saved $180,000 in rent. So you've actually got a net gain of $110,000. Perspective is the only thing that can dramatically change the outcome of an event without changing any of the facts. All right, one more. What you're looking at is you're looking at a picture of the market from 2002. Yeah, from 2002 through 2022. And what we saw the market going up until 2006, and then it started falling, it started coming back up in 2012. 2016, we're right where we were in 2007, and this is where we are in 2022. If you knew that your home was worth more today than it will be in the next 6 years, what would you do? The other thing that I would do, I'm going to go back to the strategy that I was sharing with you, is I would get this drawn up professionally. And I would focus on this group, the group that bought between 2012 and 2016. I'd send them a copy of this article. And I would ask them, if you bought your home between 2012 and 2016, do you have equity in your home? The next question I would ask them is, how much equity do you have in your home? If you bought your home between 2012 and 2016, if you have $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 in equity, would selling be a good idea if you knew the market was going to go down and you have more equity in your home today than you will for the next 6 years? If you knew that, if you had a crystal ball and you knew that, what would you do? I would start targeting that group. Anybody who bought between 2012 and 2016, I'm mailing them. I'm sending information to their house. I'm knocking on their door. I'm leaving a door hanger on the door. I'm calling them. I'm having conversations with them. I'm being strategic. I am playing offense. I am not playing defense. All right. How do you get the article? It's in the chat, all the way up at the top. Well, towards the top.
John?
Put the link in there. Talk to me, Diane. I was going to call on you. Your hand is up. You've been waiting patiently.
Yeah, so can you just go over, there was one point I was driving on, so I couldn't make a note. Remember how you said the market, it's, you said something flat, like there was like cycle. I really like that, what you said, and I want to make a note of that. But that you said something like it's 3 years flat, like it's 2 years up and then 3 years flat, or it goes down, goes flat, and then goes up. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, economists will tell you that when you're talking about market corrections, you're looking at three different types of markets. You're either looking at a V market, a U market, or an L market. And a V market simply means the market goes down at a certain rate. It comes back at the same rate. It's creating a V. It goes down for 2 years, 20%, comes back 2 years, 20%, which means 4 years from now, you're exactly where you are. And in reality, that almost never happens. What typically happens is you're looking at a U market or an L market, which means the market's coming down for 2 years and then it slowly comes back for 3 to 4 years, which means you're 5 years to 6 years away from your home being worth what it is today. And we have a third market. It's an L market. The market goes down for 2 years. It flatlines for another year. And then it starts to slowly come back after that, which means you're looking at 4 years to 6 years. If the market decreases for 2 years, it's going to be 6 years to 7 years before your home is worth what it is today.
Okay.
Diane, Clarissa, sorry, talk to me.
Thank you.
You got it, girl.
So I'm driving also, but could you put that little sheet of paper with your graph up so I can take a snapshot?
I'll do better than that. I will draw a better picture and I will put it on our Facebook group.
Okay.
Anybody on here that's not a part of Rainmaker Training and Coaching, simply go to YouTube and not YouTube. You could find me there too. Go to YouTube and follow me, please. But go to Facebook and search Rainmaker Training and Coaching. It's a private group. Just hit join and I will add you. And those pictures will all be on the Facebook group today.
Okay, perfect. Thank
You
you.
got it. You got it. All right, let me check the chat and we're going to run. Sheena, 100% agree with you. Both of you look at it that way to begin with. Don't sell until you gain. Okay. Depends on how long they plan on living in the house. Yeah, let's talk about that. So most people live in their home between 7 and 10 years. Again, this is really good information to have when you're talking to a buyer who's stuck and they're stuck in fear. How long do you plan on living in your home? Most people plan on living in their home for 7 to 10 years. And even people who bought their home in 2008, 9, and 10, who sold their home in 2017, 18, 19, 20, they made money on their home. They made money on their home because it doesn't matter what the value is until you sell. The value can drop by $100,000. Who cares? If you're not selling, you haven't lost $100,000. The only thing that matters is where is the value when you sell your home. And it's almost always a good time to buy if you're going to live in your home between 7 and 10 years, because the market may correct, but then again, more than likely it's going to come back and your home will be worth more than what it was when you bought it. Love what Jack says. It's not magic, it's math. Agree 1,000%. The path is in the math. Real estate is just a math conversation. That's all it is. Learn the numbers, talk the numbers. Article is in the chat, guys, and Paige reposted it. Thank you, Paige. Love you, girl. Private question. So elections always affect the real estate market. Elections always affect the economy. And what effect do I think the election in 2024 will have? I have no idea. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. Not live on Facebook anyways. All right. Guys, I think that's it. Angel, hold on. What was the name of that book you mentioned yesterday? Oh my gosh, you want me to remember 24 hours ago?
It was something about the secret to getting everything you want. What was the title?
The Ultimate Secret to Getting Everything You Want. And it's written by Mike Hanecki.
Okay.
Yeah. Rose, it's great seeing you too. Thank you for being here. Nicole, the link is in the chat. And if you're not able to find it, go to my Facebook page. It's there. Just John Dietz, you'll find me. My friend limit's been maxed for a long time. Just hit the follow button and you'll get everything that I post. All right, guys, I hope you got great value today. Thank you for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. Time to get to work. What is work? I'm going to give you the short version today because we are over time. Work is 20 conversations. It's not 19, it's not 18, it's not 17 conversations. Because if you have 17 conversations and you stop because you're close enough, you didn't have the 18th conversation, which could have been $1 million listing that you didn't get simply because you didn't have the conversation. It's making care calls, not sale calls. Always lead with gratitude, always bring value to every conversation. Build a relationship. Add somebody new to your database, get an appointment, get a referral. Find somebody today that is thinking of selling their home. This is work. Find somebody today that is thinking of selling their home and then go meet with them. That will be 250 people in your listing pipeline, and then follow up them forever because you reject rejection, because no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. No simply means not yet. Remember, people will never change their mind, but they will make a new decision based on new information. And when you follow up forever, you're creating emotional proximity. So that when they make a new decision based on new information, that new decision will be to hire you. Make it a great day, guys. Moseline, I love that. My favorite morning.
It always will be, John.
Thank you for that. So much appreciated. All right, guys, make it a great day, everybody. Bye for now.